On our first case tonight, police are looking for a random killer, a man who's killed once and might kill again. His victim was a girl of 19, and detectives are appealing to you to watch this reconstruction very carefully to see if you can help. Think back to just before the New Year, Sunday the 29th of December. It's the first Sunday after Christmas. The place? East London. Beside the canal at Hackney is an area of workshops and print works, largely silent for the Christmas holiday. That Sunday, December the 29th, the roads here were deserted. But one printer's, Fairway Graphics, had deadlines to meet, and because of problems with machinery, Paul Tidyman, an assistant printer, had been asked to stay behind to do some overtime.
Oh, Alison. Yeah, look, it's me. Look, I'm going to have to work late tonight. Is that all right? Yeah? Do you want to come over here?
Well, you better tell me how to get there, then.
Although Alison had been Paul's girlfriend for 3 years and they'd been engaged for 2, she'd never been to where he works.
Cross one road, and you'll see Fairway Graphics on the right-hand side. All right? Now walk through the gate, and I'll be there.
What time shall I leave?
Well, if you leave between about 5:30 and 6 o'clock, then I'll start looking out for you from around 7.
All right, see you later, then. Bye. Thanks, Mum. I better go now, because I don't want to keep Paul waiting.
Well, you haven't had your sweet yet.
Oh, I won't have time for sweet. Anyway, I don't want to get fat like you, do I, Dad?
I don't know.
Mum, could I borrow a couple of quid for my fare, please?
Yes, of course you can. That should be it.
Fine, thanks a lot.
All right,
I'll be
then.
off. I'll see you later.
Okay.
Yeah, bye.
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 With only enough money for her one-way fare, her sheepskin coat and Paul's directions, Alison set off. It was a bitterly cold evening. Alison walked 300 yards to the bus stop outside Upminster Bridge tube station. A passerby remembers seeing someone like Alison standing there, waiting, at around 5:45. The bus she took would have been a single-decker 244 or 248 to Romford station. The journey would have taken about 10 minutes. From Romford, she took a 20-minute train journey to here, Stratford in East London. It was at Stratford station that detectives have the last clear report of Alison being seen alive by the ticket collector, Rose Lee.
Excuse me, I think I've got myself lost. I've just come from Romford and I want to get to Hackney Wick.
Well, why you've got to go straight back down to the bottom, into your left, over the bridge number 1.
Number 1. It's been freezing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really cold.
Thanks. Bye.
Alison may have waited 15 minutes on platform 1 for the train to Hackney Wick. This is the North London Link line, just after 7 o'clock, and Alison might have been the only passenger. The journey lasted just 2 minutes. Hackney Wick is the first stop. Police believe Alison arrived here at about 7:10. Though she may not have realised it, she was now just 5 minutes walk away from Paul in Fairway Graphics. But she never got there. From dozens of possibilities, detectives are now concentrating on 3 main theories about what happened in the hour before she died. Theory 1 is that Alison was followed from the train. Alison may have been lost, or she may have realised she was being followed. A minicab company remembers receiving a call from a young woman at 7:13.
Hello, I'd like a cab, please. I'm at Hackney Wick station, and I want to go to Hackney. A delay? How long of a delay?
Either her time ran out, or she couldn't wait. The line went dead. The cab telephonist remembers that the caller sounded distressed. Detective's second theory is that after Alison got off at Hackney Wick, she was lost. Having made the call and failed to get a cab, she walked 50 yards to the junction with Berkshire Road. If she'd walked straight on, she'd have got to Fairway Graphics in 2 minutes. Instead, she may have turned right and continued down Wallace Road. It leads to the canal and to a printer's yard where people go looking for discarded proofs of girly magazines. It could have been she met her killer here. The third theory is that after making the phone call, Alison again walked to the junction with Berkshire Road, but this time she walked the right way, straight down the road towards Fairway Graphics. When she got there, she would have seen the sign saying Atlas Works, which she knew was another name for Fairway Graphics. But instead of going to the main doors, maybe she turned down to the side. It leads to the canal. Alison Day's body was found 300 yards away from Atlas Works in Hackney Canal. She'd been sexually assaulted and strangled. Leading the hunt for her killer is Superintendent Eric Brown. Perhaps we should stress straight away, those are three prominent theories. They're just best guesses, but there are other possibilities.
Yes, there are. Alison could have been picked up by a car, someone purporting to be a minicab, or she could have used the S2 bus.
Now, a lot of it is guesswork because the last definite sighting is Rose Lee, the ticket collector at Stratford. What do you know about the time from about 7 or 7:10, whenever it was, 7:10, 7:20, that she arrived at Hackney Wick?
Well, she got off the train at the telephone box. She made that telephone call, and eventually her body was found in the canal at 8:10.
How do you know she went into the canal at 8:10?
Because her watch stopped at about 8:10, and it's been examined forensically. And we can say that it did stop immediately. It went into the water, and other forensic examinations confirm that.
So she got off the train at 7:10 or 7:20 and was in the canal by 8:10?
Yes.
Now, what might people round there, if there were people round there, other than the killer, have heard or seen?
They might have heard Alison scream, or they might have heard a splash as this coat was put into the canal separately from Alison. Or they might have seen someone on the Trowbridge estate, which is the estate close to the scene, carrying a coat like this. And this was put into the canal very close to the Eastway Bridge.
Right. And you brought some shoes. These her shoes recovered from the canal?
Yes, no, they're not. Her shoes, these are very like her shoes. Her shoes are missing. And we would be very interested to hear from anyone who's seen a pair of shoes like this discarded somewhere.
Have other women been attacked in this area?
Yes, women have been attacked in this area. We'd be very interested to hear from any women that have been attacked in Hackney Wick or Leighton or Bow, which are very close.
Now, the crucial time, presumably, is anybody who has been attacked or anybody who's been frightened by a man in that area, what, around Christmas time this year? This attack, remember, was the last Sunday of the year, the Sunday after Christmas.
Yes, that's right. That's the crucial time. But we'd also be interested to hear from women who've been attacked in, say, the last 3 or 4 years in that area.
Really, as far back as what, 1980, 81, 82?
Yes, that's right.
OK, well, if they will ring, please do. If you can help, do ring us now. Here's the number, 01811 8055. You can, if you want, ask to speak to a woman police officer. If you prefer, you can ask to speak to a BBC researcher. It is in absolute confidence. Or you can ring the police direct on 01488 5212 and ask for the Alison Day Incident Room. That's 01488 5212. We start this month's Reconstructions with the tragic story of a 15-year-old Dutch girl, Maartje Tamboezer. Maartje had lived in England for the past year. The family moved to Britain because her father was posted here by his company. Their home is at West Horsley, near Guildford in Surrey. The Tamboezers have lived here in the village of West Horsley for almost a year. At 4 o'clock after school on Thursday the 17th of April, Maartje left home to cycle to the next village of East Horsley. The family was out when she set off, but her sister says Maartje wanted to buy some English sweets to take back to the Netherlands on a school trip that weekend. She was a shy girl, but popular and very pretty. This is her 15th birthday party, 6 days before her death. These are the last pictures her family have of her. Maartje passed West Horsley Garage at 4:10. A passer-by clearly remembers her blue jacket and her bright turquoise trousers. Maartje's mother had told her to keep to the main roads, but there's a well-used shortcut to East Horsley up the cinder path beside the railway. There are no known witnesses from this point on, but someone must have lain in wait. Some 10 minutes later, the 4:22 to London passed by, just as a resident, Anthony Mabbott, turned onto the cinder path. The cord was still in place. He didn't see at the far side of the field a bicycle. This is an aerial photograph showing the cinder path beside the railway, and this is where the cord was found. Here is Maartje's bicycle, and this, an hour later, is where a man was seen behaving rather strangely. He seemed to be peering into the next field, perhaps waiting for some people there to go away. This is where the man was standing, and here, 200 yards away, is Oakwood Close. Just before 6 o'clock, a man in a dark blue jacket walked into the close from the fields. A resident remembers seeing him pass her house. Just after 6, two neighbours driving home into the close also saw a man in blue. They recalled that he had mud on his right shoulder. He was walking in the direction of East Horsley. 5 minutes walk away is Horsley Station. Just after 6 is peak commuter time, and the man would have been walking against the flow of people. By now, the family was deeply worried. It was not like Maartje to stay out without saying where she was. By nightfall, they were frantic. The police had been informed, and friends and neighbours began a search. At 10:30, they found her bicycle. Searchlights were brought in, but by daybreak, Maartje had still not been found. At 8:30, two gamekeepers out shooting met up with the police.
Morning, gents. What are you boys up to?
Well, we're looking for a missing girl. Have you've been all through the woods, have you?
Yeah, we've been shooting all round here.
Around this morning?
Yeah.
Have you seen anything unusual that you've not seen before?
They remembered that they'd seen what looked like green plastic sacks just back there in the woods. They went back with the police and there found Maartje's body. And this is where the body was found. Well, this is the man in charge of the inquiry, Detective Chief Superintendent Vincent McFadden. How did Maartje die?
Maartje died as a result of several blows to the head, and she was sexually assaulted.
Now, had there been other sex attacks in this area?
We would normally expect to find with an investigation like this a number of other incidents which haven't been reported to us, but on this occasion we found only one incident that we know of, and that took place on the Monday, 3 days prior to the attack on Maartje. This involved a middle-aged woman that was walking from the medical centre towards West Horsley when a man jumped out of the hedge in front of her and did what we must describe as a war dance. The woman retraced her steps.
She was unhurt?
She was unhurt. This man was described as 5'8", slim build, collar length, dark hair, 2 or 3 days growth of stubble, mid-blue anorak and blue trousers.
Now, of course, that man might be entirely innocent. He hasn't broken the law, so you obviously want him to ring in if he is innocent, but do you suspect that he might be the murderer?
Of course, if he is innocent, we would wish to speak to him and would wish for him to contact us, but there is the possibility that he's the same man that was seen in the field.
Obviously, if there has been another attack in the area, if any woman has been frightened by a stranger like that, you desperately need them to ring in.
Yes, of course, we would ask them to come forward and their calls will be treated in the strictest confidence.
Now, what about the man who, one must assume, was the murderer, who was seen coming out of the fields through Oakwood Close, and we last saw him turning the corner and walking in the direction of East Horsley? Is that the last that we know about him?
Yes, he was seen at about 6:02 in Ockham Road South. Obviously, he could have gone into a nearby house. He could be a local man. But we do have a sighting of a man at a railway station a little later on at 6:07. A man was sitting outside waiting for his wife when this chap described in a blue anorak and blue trousers ran to the booking office door, through a gate because it was locked, up over the bridge. He bumped into a number of people. He's described variously as having a blue anorak or a beige coat on. The train was moving off. He ran towards the train. The guard stopped the train and allowed him to get on.
That was a good of the guard. Now, what time was that train?
That was
fit?
6:07.
So that would fit precisely
the time that the man would have been walking down that road.
OK, so if anybody remembers it was they who got on that train, that 6:07 train we're talking about, Thursday the 17th of April.
That is correct.
And they would remember a train
Yes,
stopping for them.
Obviously, we would ask him to come forward because it would save us wasting resources if he's just an innocent person running for a train.
Some of Maartje's belongings were taken.
Yes, missing from Maartje, in fact, was a purse identical to this. It's Jordache make purse. Inside the purse was approximately £25, a key, and an identical Dutch bank card to this one. This is, in fact, Maartje's sister's bank card.
Well, there can't be many of those. Now, if people ring with suspicions, are you going to be able to check those suspicions out and rule out people who are innocent?
Yes, as a result of the latest laser technology, we do have outstanding fingerprints, we have a minority blood group, and we also have forensic evidence, and we will either be able to implicate or eliminate if people will give us details of any suspects.
Mr McFadden, thank you very much. If you can help in any way, the number is 018118055. Please do ring. You can speak to detectives if you prefer at Surrey Police Headquarters. The number there, 0483 65272. That's 0483, the code for Guildford, 65272. Now to the first of this month's Reconstructions. Anne Locke, a secretary at London Weekend Television, had been married just a month when she vanished on her way home one Sunday night. It's a case that's produced big headlines and wild rumours. Tonight, we'll be showing the face of a man that police need to trace in connection with her disappearance. Our reconstruction starts 7 weeks ago at Anne's home in Hertfordshire.
Hello? Yeah, yes it is. Oh, hello, Simon.
Just after lunch on Sunday afternoon, May the 18th, Anne Locke's boss phoned from London Weekend Television.
I'll be in about 4 o'clock.
Anne occasionally worked Sundays, but the producer asked if she could work a little later than usual.
No, I don't mind. Of course I don't mind. That's fine. All right then. See you later. Bye.
Anne's 86-year-old grandmother lives in the same house, and she remembers all was normal when Anne left home.
Bye, Nan, I won't be late.
Anne's husband was in Dorset for the weekend, planning a diving trip for their sub-aqua club. He was away till late that night.
This particular Sunday, We had just sold her car, and she would normally on a Sunday have driven all the way up to LWT where she could have parked her car. But on this particular occasion, because she had no car and the new one had not yet arrived, she cycled to Brookman's Park station.
Brookman's Park is a prosperous Hertfordshire village just north of Potter's Bar. Anne was known around the village by her maiden name, Sunyuk. That Sunday, Anne was only just back from her honeymoon, and she had a noticeable suntan for mid-May.
Excuse me, what time's the next train, please?
To 43.
43?
Yep.
The ticket collector clearly remembers Anne arriving with her bike. Almost certainly she would have parked it in the station bike sheds and locked it. Anne's normal route to work took her on the Welwyn Garden City to London line that used to be called the GN Electric. It stops at places like Potter's Bar and Finsbury Park. London Weekend Television on the South Bank. Anne finished typing the London programme scripts at around 8:30. On her way out, she had to hand copies of the scripts to drivers who delivered them to the producers' homes.
Good evening. You come to collect these?
Yeah, I'm going south.
Okay. That's yours there.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Driver, if no one is in, please put through letterbox. You must be joking. What do you think we're going to do, drink it back?
Well, you might do. Some drivers would. I'll see you, thanks. Night-night.
These were the last people known to have spoken to Anne. No one seems to have seen her since. Assuming Anne went home, she'd normally have walked to Waterloo Underground, the York Road entrance. There she would have waited on the Bakerloo line platform and taken a northbound train. There are no sightings so far of Anne on this section of her journey, nor at Oxford Circus, where normally she changed onto the Victoria line. At Finsbury Park, Anne would have switched to British Rail, probably the 9:38 to Welwyn Garden City, which would take her to Brookman's Park. No one has come forward who saw Anne that Sunday evening. But if you were there, something might jog your memory. A fellow passenger was behaving rather oddly. It's 9:38 on Sunday, May the 18th. Nine stops down from Finsbury Park is Brookman's Park, Anne's home. The bike shed is unlocked and the station is unmanned. This teenager has come forward and remembers seeing someone about half an hour before that London train arrived.
Have you seen anybody with an air gun?
No, why?
Somebody been shooting at pedestrians with an air gun.
No, I haven't. Been a friend's house, top and Wofford's.
By this time, Anne's husband, Lawrence, had got back from his boat trip.
I arrived home just before 10 o'clock. Nan met me on the drive and she was quite distressed as Anne hadn't come home and she hadn't phoned either. I unhitched the boat, unloaded the car and drove back down to Brookman's Park station. I got there, had a look in the bike shed to see if her bike was there and it wasn't. It had already gone. I was about to leave when I saw a train coming in.
Just after 10, the train Anne should have been on arrived at Brookman's Park. This couple, Mr and Mrs Masterman, home from a hiking trip, are sure that they were the only people to get off at Brookman's Park.
I phoned work to actually ascertain that she had left, and they said that she had and left quite some time earlier. I phoned a couple of friends to see if she was around there. I checked with the police to see if she had been involved in a road accident on her bike. I then reported her missing to the police at Hatfield.
At dawn, 5 o'clock on Monday morning, police found Anne's bike 60 yards from the station shed. It was still padlocked. From here, Hertfordshire police have mounted a 7-week search of fields, woods and parkland near the Brookmans Park railway station. It's so far taken over 16,000 man-hours. It's turned up some slight evidence that Anne Locke might have got as far as Brookmans Park that Sunday night. Her diary and address book were found along the footpath that crosses Bluebridge Road. Inspector Paul Dockley, you personally found that address book, but it was 700 yards away from the diary found by one of your colleagues.
That is quite correct.
Now, how do you account for that?
Well, in fact, one of the considerations we're making is that that bag that Anne was carrying, which is a black zip-up bag, which we have here...
This is a replica, yeah?
This is a replica. Could have been found and the items abandoned from that bag by some passer-by after the event. Now, obviously, we have made inquiries with the Director of Public Prosecutions with regard to this, and he's agreed that there will be no police prosecution if any person comes forward saying they found that bag, removed any of the contents or the money that was in it, as long as they're not involved with the disappearance of Anne Locke.
And of course it could have been somebody quite innocently, finding the address book, whatever, tossing it away, thinking it was of no good to anybody. You desperately need anybody who found the bag or the contents, anything like that in that area. Now, that teenager who saw that man acting strangely on the Sunday night at Brookmans Park, that was a fairly strange piece of behaviour.
Well, not only was there that, but on the previous day, the Saturday, at 11:45 in the evening, some people had been to a dinner party in Brookmans Park and returning to the station, and there was a bench across the entrance to the platform, which made them walk in a rather obscure angle onto the platform. They were approached by a man. He asked what time the last train was, stood around for a few minutes, and then he made his way out of the platform and up the stairs and out of view, and he hasn't been seen since.
So on 2 consecutive nights, just before she disappeared, around the time she disappeared, there was somebody acting strangely. You've got a description. We've got the first video fit of this man. Can you describe him to us?
Yes, this man is described as 35 to 40 years. He's 5'6" tall, of medium build. He has a receding hairline and collar-length brownish hair, dark brown hair. He was wearing a bomber jacket and dark-coloured jeans or trousers, and it is believed that he just spoke with a local accent.
Right, now that's an entirely new description, and of course the man presumably need not have been a local. I mean, Brookmans Park is right on the A1 and the M25.
That is correct,
so
yes.
he could, frankly, have come from anywhere.
He could have done.
She's been missing a long time now. I mean, do you think there's any chance that Anne is still alive?
We're obviously very concerned for her safety, and we do fear that she may have come by her death.
Right. OK, well, if you feel that you can help in any way, please do call us. Detectives are waiting for you. Call right now on 01811 8055. Or you can call the incident room at Welwyn Garden City. That's 0707 331 011. Welwyn Garden City, 331 011.